Hi, I'm Paul Germain, your host for Smart Boating. You know, summer's a great time of the year for enjoying boating, get out in the water. And it's also the time of year when a lot of the really neat boat shows are held. And today I'm at the Oxbow Marina in Northampton, Mass, joining the Bay State Woodies with one of their annual outings. And here to help provide a little overview is Jeff Crampton. He's the president of the local Bay State Woodies chapter. Welcome, Jeff.
Good morning, Paul. Welcome to the Oxbow Marina.
Thank you. It's a beautiful marina. I love this place.
It certainly is.
Can you tell me a little bit about your involvement in boating and perhaps even more importantly, a little bit about the Bay State Woodies?
Sure. Well, it started a long time ago when I was 2 or 3 years old. Dad bought a small wooden plywood runabout 12-footer that we used every summer to go fishing and running around the local ponds and rivers and off to Lake Champlain for a couple of weeks during the summer, and run around there and chase fish. So we started early and it continues to this day.
It's almost an addiction, but in a nice way.
Yeah, yes, it's definitely an addiction, and you know, you've got to have a boat or two in the yard all the time ready to go.
I know what you mean. Well, tell me a little bit about the Bay State Woodies, because my understanding is that it's a chapter of the Antique and Classic Boat Society, which is it's a national organization, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yes, the Antique Classic Boat Society is, the national headquarters are in Clayton, New York, and there's about 55 chapters around the United States and Canada. And the whole premise of the organization is to maintain, preserve, rehabilitate old boats and put on shows like this during the summer for everybody to enjoy.
Yeah, and so you're the Bay State or the Massachusetts chapter?
Yeah, we're the Bay State Woodies. There's no real geographical restrictions, so you can join the Bay State Woodies or as many chapters around the country as you wish.
Oh, I see.
Because a lot of people will travel to different shows and get involved with all different chapters during the summer.
Right.
Bay State Woodies has about, I don't know, 75 to 80 members. Majority of them are in Massachusetts and Connecticut. And this is our 25th anniversary show here at the Oxbow Marina on the Connecticut River, and another beautiful sunny day.
Yeah, it's going to be a great one. Well, there's going to be a lot of interesting boats here today, so I think what we'll do is I'll get going and get out there and start to meet some of the owners.
Very good. Enjoy.
Thank you. Well, here's a very interesting boat at the Bay State Woodies outing. John, can you tell us a little bit about your boat?
Yeah, it's a 1967 Century Sabre. It's 18 feet, and it's a model that they built, I think, from 63 to 67, and they changed it in mid years to a prettier design, I think. But anyways, they all had the roof like that with gull-wing doors, and they all had an 18-foot resorter hull with fiberglass from here up, and then this is covered with vinyl. And originally it had vinyl decks on top, and from the docks you couldn't tell it was a wooden boat, so I changed it to wood. So
so this boat was produced right at that line where they were going from wood to glass, right?
Right. 68 was the last year of wood.
Really? Yeah. This is a pretty boat. Now, how long has this boat been in the hands of the current owner, do you know?
Yeah, the boat, the lady that owns it, her father bought it for her 21st birthday. Yeah. And they live on Webster Lake in Massachusetts. She's had it ever since, and I've taken care of it for probably 25 or 26 years now.
My God.
And in fact, we brought this to the first Bay State Woody show, and 25 years ago when I did it all over, and just now since we just kind of maintain it, you know.
Yeah, this is one beautiful boat.
Yeah,
Well, John, we're looking at the interior of this Century here. It's got what looks like the original wheel.
It is the original wheel. These were, I had a couple of 66, 65 Galaxies, and that was the steering wheel.
Okay.
And they basically take that and put the Century emblem in the center. And it's a really pretty wheel. And you don't find too many of them that are cracked, you know. Ford was doing something right then, or whoever was making them.
Right. And you've got a number of gauges in here. Some I recognize, but what's this black pull in the middle?
Oh, that's for your Ivolite spotlight. That controls you, so you can spin it around and in and out, and they're really nice to have.
That was an option on these boats, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
back in the day, I think that was probably $40 or $50, and today they're like $1,000.
Yeah, it's a big deal. And then
Yeah.
as we look at the rest of the interior here, we see a really substantial ski hook there,
Yeah,
towing eye.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well, they lived on the water, you know, so they used the boat. I mean, that's what it was for, you know.
yeah, yeah.
And,
How about the upholstery here, John? It's what was this originally?
that's what it was.
Oh,
It's
just
all,
like
it's
this?
all, it's all original. The only thing
Is it
that
really?
I changed was I believe this was the tan color, and it was pretty wore out. So I like the alligator. These was used in the late '50s Chris Crafts and the Cobras and
Oh,
stuff.
yeah.
And so I put that
Yeah.
in it.
That's neat.
Yeah, it goes nice with the dash and stuff.
Yeah.
So.
John, we're focused on the power plant of the Century. What are we looking at here?
Well, this one is Chrysler Power. It's 340, and I think they're around 225 or 230, 40 horse. I forget,
Yeah.
but it's one of the better Chrysler motors, and
Yes, oh,
it
absolutely.
has a distinct sound even of its own. And
Does it?
Yeah, it's the same motor they used in the 340 Dusters and stuff.
Yes,
you know,
a very strong motor.
Yeah, and it runs. I mean, it runs really. You know, you push the button and it starts. Like
Yeah.
it's like a new car.
Yeah, perfect.
And
huh?
you know, like I say, they used it, so here it is. It's a little. We haven't had a chance to clean it up too much, but
Yeah, that's a.
here it is. We
That's
kind of
good.
stole it off the dock this morning,
Oh yeah.
going to the boat show. Thank
Well,
you.
Looks fine.
Yeah. So, and it's a real nice, fun boat to drive. And,
Oh, I bet.
you know, it's got plenty of power.
Well, John, you know, one of the interesting things and the things I really like about these old boats is they had character, they had uniqueness and personality. And you can see that on the hardware. If we focus in on the lifting eye, it's actually the image of a horse, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the image of a horse head because Century was, when they redesigned in the late 50s, they picked the motto, the thoroughbred of boats, and that's why it has the little horse head.
Oh,
just
is that
like
right?
Yeah.
And you've
Yeah.
got this, it looks like all the original hardware on here. That's a pretty important thing on an old classic boat, right?
Yeah, it is. And again, the ladder was an option, I think back then, you know, $60 or something. Today,
Oh, yeah.
you know, $600.
That was big money back then.
Yeah, it had it all. This boat was probably about $7,000 in '67.
right?
Yeah,
Wow. That's a really nice boat.
yeah.
Well, here's an interesting lapstrake boat. It's a Penyan owned by Ted. Morning, Ted.
Morning.
Ted, can you tell us a little bit about your boat?
Yeah, it's a 1962 Penyan, 16 foot. It was the basic of all the models they built. It was the cheapest. It was the basic boat.
Oh, it was. Okay.
It was meant just for fishing and fooling around, and it's been doing that for over 50 years.
That's amazing. What do you know the materials used in the construction, Ted?
Yeah, it's mostly it's lapstrake, but they're plywood strips.
Plywood strips, yeah.
It's all wood. It's allegedly the last all wooden boat that were Penyan before they started to build both wood and fiberglass.
Oh, is that
In
right?
'63 they started to build wood and fiberglass. '62 was the last when they were building just wooden boats.
That's amazing. Now the deck and the windshield, are they all different woods or the same wood as the hull?
Most of the upper, this is mahogany.
Yep.
Most of the heavy wood is mahogany,
Is
and
it?
the rest is marine plywood.
Yeah, it's really pretty. How long have you had the boat?
I've had the boat 32 years.
That's a long time.
Yeah.
Well, Ted, a lot of these older boats, they had kind of interesting dashes, personalities, if you will. It looks like you might have some original instrumentation here on the dash.
It's all original. The only thing that isn't original is the little compass, obviously, and I added a power outlet,
Okay.
you know, to plug in a light or so.
Yes.
But the rest of it is all original.
Yeah, there is some really neat looking gauges here, yeah. Now, you've had the boat for a while. Have you had to do much work on it over the years?
Yeah. I put a new deck on it and new gunnels back here to the windshield about 10 years ago. and I just this winter put a whole new bottom in it.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then as we pan the cockpit here, it's really a nice open cockpit, very flexible, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a great boat. I mean, it gets used for fishing and just, you know, tooling around, and
Yeah.
the kids have all learnt to water ski on it, and the grandkids learnt to water ski on it. It's a really useful boat. Yeah.
Now, speaking of skiing, you need power. What are we looking at here on the Transom?
40 horsepower,
40 horsepower.
which in 1962 was a big motor.
Oh, it sure was. It sure was. Was this an electric start or a pull?
It's an electric start, electric shift.
Electric start, electric shift. Yeah, you don't
It's
see
the
those.
original. It's the original motor that came
Is
with the boat.
that right?
Yeah.
Wow. Ted, these pinions were known for the seaworthiness. Has that been your
Yeah.
experience as
Yeah.
well?
Yeah, it's a great boat.
Yeah. You've got a little V in the bottom here.
Yeah.
But, mostly in lake use.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
only ever been in fresh water. It's
Only
never been in
fresh
salt water.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
that's a beautiful boat.
And they're a very dry boat as well.
Oh, they are.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. All right. Because you get the strakes, and
Yeah.
then you
Yeah.
got a nice design to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, here's another interesting boat at the show today, owned by Art. Art, good morning.
Morning, Paul. How are you?
Great, thank you.
Beautiful day.
This is a very interesting boat. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
It's a 16-foot Sidewinder. Was made in Palo Alto, California, and the designer was Ken Baker, a renowned racer.
Yeah.
And in race mode, this hull did 138 miles an hour.
That's
This one won't do that, but
No, but that's moving out. Now, I think you mentioned to me this has a unique hull design, right?
yeah, he designed the hull.
Yeah.
You can see the chines in it.
Yeah. See if we can get
It's
in
good
here.
for
Does that
for
help with both
fast
the speed and the stability at
and
speed?
fast turns, right?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. How long have you had the boat, Art?
Ooh, I'm going to say approximately 20 years.
20 years.
It's a 1971.
71. Yeah. She's
So
in
it's-
beautiful shape. Have you had to do much to it along the
I
the way?
redid the whole
Oh, you did. Okay.
motor, the drive, the interior, the paint, the electrics. I've rebuilt it
Soup
in
to
its
nuts. It's been
entirety.
rebuilt. Yeah. Well, it's a beautiful boat.
Thank you.
Well, Art, on a boat like this, a high performance boat, you really got to be in tune, especially with the engine, right? So you've got some gauges here that help you keep an eye on what's going on, right?
I've got actually two sets, Paul. One here and one for if you're pulling a skier, one for the person in the back.
Oh yeah, I see that now, right?
The gauges are down here.
Yeah.
And it's just oil pressure and the temperature gauge.
Yeah, very important though.
Got a sissy bar here for the passengers so they can hang on.
Yeah. Well, how fast does this boat go, Art?
You know, I'm not really sure, Paul. I had it, a police officer had a radar gun, and he had me at 78 miles an hour. But that was years ago before I rebuilt everything. So
Oh, yeah.
I really don't know.
Yeah.
The speedometers are not that accurate on these
No,
boats.
they aren't.
I
They
should get a
aren't.
GPS, but
Well, the layout of this boat is different than many of the boats we see here today. It's got some interesting seating arrangement.
yeah, in 71, they really could not sell boats as a racing boat, so they sold them as a ski boat, an SK.
Okay.
So they had to have the seats in the back so you could watch the skier.
Oh, right, yeah.
And but in actuality, it is a racing hull.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
16 foot. It's got a 455 Oldsmobile
I see that
engine
there,
in it,
yeah.
and it's producing, I'm going to say, close to 400 horsepower.
Is it really? Now, has this been bored out and modified?
Yeah,
that
it's
sort of thing?
been all rebuilt, redone.
Wow.
It's got Glenwood headers on it, Elderbrock risers, got a Holly carburetor. Mm-hmm. Then you notice the ski bar, and that's just, they put that on to make it an official ski
Oh, okay,
boat.
right. Well, Art, another interesting thing about this boat is that it's powered not by an outboard and not by an inboard, but rather a jet drive.
It is an inboard, but it's instead of having a prop or a wheel, it's got a Berkeley jet on it
Yeah.
with a drop snoot. This lowers down and brings it lower in the water.
Oh, it does. Okay.
Yeah, a
So
lot
what's
of them
that? You're
just
trying
come
to
out
trim the
straight.
boat out of the water while keeping the drive in the
knocks
water?
it back down fast. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty neat. You know, sometimes you see a little of those on the larger boats now that they've been going to jets, but this was very popular years ago, the jet drive, wasn't
Actually, they were used in Vietnam in the river boats.
it? Yes.
Believe it or not. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, pretty trouble-free, high performance.
Well, and it's not totally trouble-free, but you can go in real low water without
real shallow draft.
injuring your propeller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Yeah,
an
this
interesting-
comes up, and well, I can't do it. It's in there. That
Oh,
comes
yeah.
up, and a jet comes out, and that'll throw the water out quite a distance.
I bet it will.
Yeah, a lot of torque in this engine,
Yeah.
and
Oh
it
yeah.
will spit out a lot of water.
I bet it will.
Yeah.
That's a neat boat.
Thank you very much, Paul.
Well, here's just a beautiful boat at the Bay State Woody Show. Joe, good morning.
Good morning. How are you today?
I'm great, Joe. How about yourself?
I'm super.
Joe, you've got a very unusual boat behind you. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Well, it's a 1960 Century Arabian, 19 foot. There were supposedly 16 of these produced that year. And this is one of them. I don't know how many more there are. There is another one there, but that's older.
Wow. Yeah.
That's a 69 or 68.
When did you buy this one, Joe?
I bought it 4 years ago.
4 years ago. Was it in this condition?
No, not hardly. I brought it here. I dropped it off the night before from a trip from New Jersey when I picked it up.
Uh-huh.
And the next day it was sitting on land. Of course, they wouldn't put it in the water because they had holes in the bottom and holes in the transom and holes in the side and rotten wood and rotten boards falling apart.
Oh, so you've done quite a refurbishment on this then. huh?
Oh yeah. In fact, on the highway home, it started to come apart. So
Oh,
I had to
my God.
redo the straps. But anyhow, yeah, it's been thoroughly gone through. Everything's stripped out. I didn't take the engine out because it ran.
Yeah. Yeah.
Figured you can at least make it work the way you want to. Finally, it is.
What's the construction on this, Joe, in terms of the planking and the ribs and so on for
It's
the
all
hull and the
it's all
bottom?
mahogany ribs, some
mahogany.
oak,
Yeah.
and all mahogany planking.
Uh-huh.
Top, bottom decks, except for the vinyl. This
Okay.
was the top of the line for Century.
Oh, it was.
There's a
Okay.
special order. They made them. They didn't make them to put in the showroom to sell. They made them special order.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And,
Almost like for exhibit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and for the people who are the wealthy.
Yeah.
And in restoring, I can figure out why, because they all use little pieces of wood here and there and everywhere. It wasn't a mass-produced thing like the Resorters or the
Yeah.
or the Chris Craft Sportsmen or whatever, where everything is all pre-cut and they just assemble everything.
They
But
didn't have a process down. Well, you know, as we look on this foredeck here, Joe, some interesting things pop out at me. Not only the hardware, but the windshield. That's an interesting windshield there, where they got the curvature and then the chrome trim.
yeah, the wraparound.
Yeah.
It was missing the center inside, and so I made one out of mahogany.
Oh, you did. Okay.
I also made these cleats out of mahogany.
Oh, you did. All right.
'Cause
All right.
I like to carve mahogany. It's one of my hobbies besides boats.
Well, you do a really nice job with it.
But the chrome was all beautiful. I recently picked up these air horns. They're from a GMC truck, vintage, about 1955-60.
Okay.
And I got a little air compressor under the dash that beeps it.
Must be a pretty substantial sound. I would imagine.
It's different.
I imagine it is.
But yeah, I've had all these boards have been off, all replaced.
Uh-huh.
I didn't replace the bottom. I did a clean and caulk job, but not
Okay.
with the caulking as you know it. I cleaned all the seams out,
Yeah.
then vacuumed it and cleaned it again, and vacuumed it again, and then injected 5200 into the seam
Right.
up to the batten. In other words, injected it, not just put it on.
Yes.
So now it's sealed. It's almost like having a new bottom.
Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah. Beautiful.
There's a few leaks along the keel, but other than that, it's not bad.
It's in good shape. Yeah.
I mean, it's a wood boat. But anyhow, it's been fun restoring it. I lost about a year and a half because I had problems with a hip
Yeah.
replacement operation, and anyhow, here we are finally getting it in the
Here we
water.
are. Yeah.
I've had it in the water before this year, and given the rides to people, and everybody seems to enjoy it.
Yeah. Well, Joe, we're focused on the front dash here of your boat. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Well, obviously you got to have a captain's hat. So when I'm piloting it, that's my captain's
I see
hat.
that up there. Yeah.
Go through the dash. It's got the tachometer, then the water temperature, oil pressure, and it's got a GPS system in it, which was not standard in 1960.
Right.
But I had a hole to fill and I had a spare GPS, so I made a place for it.
Well, it's a very useful tool these days.
Yeah, well, it'll probably take out 100 points off of my judging thing.
I understand. Now, it
And
looks
then
like
there's
this,
a little speedometer and, of course,
Yeah.
a compass on the right.
and it's vinyl covered. It looks like it's vinyl covered.
Yes, it's vinyl covered. There's a vinyl strip down the middle of the front deck, and interior is all vinyl. The white here on the sides is new. I
Oh, it is.
had to redo it because it was screwed up, but this is all original.
Oh, is it really?
Originally, I believe the previous owner that passed away had it redone,
Oh, he did. Okay.
but I had to do a lot of the wooden framework behind it because it was all rotten. It's been
Okay.
sitting around for years, and gosh knows how many years.
So the vinyl was in good shape, but the backing needed help.
Correct.
As we pan
And of course
down
the
here.
back deck, and
Oh, yeah.
a lot of new wood.
Yeah.
The whole back deck is all new wood.
Yeah.
The top deck, and these nice chrome air intake guides, as you might call them. They're pretty. And
Yeah.
that's one of the reasons I like the Arabian.
Yes.
The styling of it. It's a fancy boat.
It is a fancy boat.
But as I said, I spent a lot of time on it, and unreal amount of time. But that's what these are all about.
Yes. Yes.
It's the time involved, and it's not so much the running of them, but it's the building of them, rebuilding of them,
yes.
because they were built already. But
Absolutely.
that's the neat thing about it. It's always a work in progress.
Yeah. Joe, this boat of yours looks like it's got a pretty substantial motor here.
Yeah, it's a Gray Marine 225 horsepower. It is based on the AMC block, which is a 327 cubic inch. It has dual side draft carburetors
Oh, yeah.
to help with the height of the whole engine.
Yes.
So the hatch will close without hitting the carburetor intakes and everything.
Yeah.
I've had a major problem getting it to run correctly. It wouldn't go over 2,000 RPM, and which is not good for a speedboat. You need a speedboat to speed.
Yes.
So anyhow, I finally got the distributor changed out, along with the timing chain and valve adjustment. Don Spring helped me immensely with the timing and the timing of the valves and everything. But I rebuilt the carburetors twice, so now they don't leak.
Oh, good, good. That's
So far.
important. Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, she's in pretty fair shape. Last time you were up there taking a shot, you could see the ground,
Yes.
and you could see daylight through the starboard side.
Yeah, everything's solid now.
Yes, it is.
Well, Joe, it looks like you're getting ready to get in the water. A lot of these old speedboats had a relatively flat bottom to them. What sort of performance would you get out of this thing on a good day, do you think?
It is a very smooth ride. It's mostly V to about 3/4 of the way back.
Oh, it is.
And even in the stern, you can see it's not flat. It's got a slight V to
Got a
it.
V to it, yeah.
So it rides like a Cadillac in the water,
Oh, it does.
or Lincoln,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
or BMW.
So you're looking for maybe 20, 25 knots?
I don't know about knots, but it should do 40
Should do
miles
40.
an hour.
Yeah,
It should be.
yeah,
Right now, on this speedometer, this is a little pitot tube here
yeah.
that picks it up, and it tells me I'm doing about 25. But
Okay.
I think it's a little. It's going to be faster than that eventually.
Yeah, yeah.
I got a new distributor and distributor cap and everything on it, so we should get some more RPMs out of it.
It'll come around. Well, that's
But the name is Water Dog. That's my Indian name from Scalpers
okay,
that I'm a member of.
okay.
So my daughter says, name it after you. So I did.
that makes sense.
She has yet to make me she works making stickers, the stick-on signs.
Yeah,
But she has yet to make me one, but that's coming.
that's a great boat.
It'll say Water Dog, then it'll say Lake Pleasant, Mass, because that's where the club is.
Nice. Well, Jeff, we've had a great day here today. It's a lot of interesting boats. You always get the Centuries and the Chris Crafts, and sometimes you see an occasional Garwood or two. Just really, really interesting. Obviously, they've been well cared for. The boat owners are really into it. So I've had a lot of fun here today. Is there anything you'd like to add before we close out the show today?
Well, I'd just like to maybe push the Antique Classic Boat Society a little. There's always need new members and folks to maintain and preserve the boats, and anybody can check out their website at acbs.org, and it'll give you links to restorers and parts availability and all the local chapters, so you can get information on them and come on down and join in, and let's go for a ride on the river.
Yeah, that sounds great. And you've got a website too. Bay State Woodies has a website too, right?
Yes, yep, the baystatewoodies.org. You can check out our website and contact any of the board of directors per se
Yes.
for any information you might need. And we get together 6-7 times during the course of the year in various events. And,
Yeah, it's a real community thing.
It is.
Yeah.
You know, very low key. Everybody has a good time. And like I say, let's go for a ride.
I'm with you. Jeff, thank you.
You're welcome.
And thank you, Smart Boating viewers, for joining us. If you have comments or questions, please visit us on our website, www.smartboatingus.com. Thank you.